questions about the opening.
It's not a good day, it's a great day in Illini basketball history. Could not be any more excited, elated, blessed to feel all of those things with the signing today of Ayo Dosunmu, 6'5" point guard. If you guys will recall, I said at my press conference that I don't get overly concerned with how many stars guys have. It's about fitting pieces of a puzzle together, and this one just happens to be a 5-star. And so I guess there's a little added bonus there, but we started this process in the spring, and it was very evident, very clear from day one, after about watching 5 to 10 minutes of Ayo play, that this was a guy that fit a big piece of our puzzle. And we have a system that we recruit to, and it's not just going out and getting guys. It's about a fit, and we started that process in the spring. That was we felt like we hit a home run in the spring, and now to add Ayo, a young man that is he's a winner first and foremost. He's an extremely high character young man. As I did with Mark Smith, it's one of those that I watched him, and then as I got to know who he is and who his family is, I fell in love with the kid. And his talent speaks for itself. His rankings, his invitations to all the camps. He's a top 30 kid, in my opinion. The thing that I love the most about him is his competitive drive to not be good, but to be great. And his every opportunity I got throughout the summer and the spring, when he was matched against other, and I'll use the term ranked, but other high-profile guards, ranked guards, there was no question who won those battles. And I love that competitive, I never want to lose mentality. He came from a state championship high school team, and he's a guy that has tremendous charisma. He has a personality and a way about him that is very, very contagious. I think one of the things that we look for in the process is guys that have that, and Ayo has tremendous charisma, and he's got natural leadership instincts. His talents are many. I like the fact that he's got great speed. At 6'5", he's got great length. He's got a chance to be an elite defender at his position or positions, because he can play multiple. He's a guy that, I said this on the summer circuit, he was the best layup maker I've seen in a long time, and there's a true art to that. And he's a guy that continued to improve, and I take note of that. It's something I watch very closely. Watched him in the spring through the summer. He continued to improve. So we met a major need. He's one of the, I think he's the highest ranked player that Illinois has signed since 2001 in D. Brown's, with D. Brown being that guy. I think you'll see his stock rise. He's a potential McDonald All-American. He's a potential Mr. Basketball in the state of Illinois. And we're elated to have him wearing orange and blue, as he's a tremendous piece to the puzzle we're putting together. We have 2 scholarships left. We'll add a shooter in that class. That's something that, again, are pieces to the puzzle that we need. And then we need to try to add one other piece of size. And you know who those pieces will be. There's a lot of options out there, and we'll continue to beat that up every single day as we do. The 2019 class, the 2020 class, recruiting is nonstop, and we will we'll continue to add those pieces as we move forward. But today is not a good day. It is a great day for Illini men's basketball.
Brett, what does it mean to add, I know the rankings, whatever, but Chicago Public League, #1 player in the state, what does it mean for your program to recruit other guys to have that guy?
Well, I think there's some significance to it. I don't want to make it out to be more than maybe it is. I think that's for you all and for the fans. Sure, he's the best player, in my opinion, in our state. I think he's one of the best players in the country, but he fits us. And I keep reiterating that it's got to be a fit. And if I didn't think he was that fit, we would have gone a different direction. But he does. And sure, there's the ramifications. It's important for us to take care of our home base, whether he plays in the Chicago Public League or played downstate. It doesn't matter. It's important to us that he's part of who we are and our family and you know, the fact that he is from the Chicago Public League is I guess, is an added bonus, but wasn't a big part of our decision in terms of recruitment.
You've said before that you like players that can do different things and maybe to fit that puzzle you're looking for. How does Ayo maybe fit with the other guards that you're going to have on the roster?
Well, one, he's got size, and he's got exceptional speed. And I've said it many times, I like guys who are different. And I don't like a lot of like pieces. One of the things that excites me about Ayo is at any time he can go get his own shot, and there's not many of those guys out there. He's got a unique ability. He's got great change of pace. He's a blur in transition, but again, at any point he can go get his own. And guards who can do that have tremendous value. Along with that, he's an extremely unselfish guy. I think he's a guy that lives in the paint. I think he's a guy that'll live at the free throw line. He's a guy that, with his size and ball screens, has an uncanny ability to make the right pass. So there's tremendous versatility there. But having a guard who can go get one at any time, coaches are good. Scouting's good. Other teams have good players, and sometimes you just got to have a guy who can go get one, and Ayo's that guy.
You had a guy like that last year, Juwan Evans. Mm-hmm. How much did you sell him? And I hate to comp, but are there any similarities?
Well, the size is obviously a difference, and I think Ayo's got tremendous speed, and Juwan had a few of those same tendencies with speed-wise. But yeah, I mean, we'd be foolish not to. Juwan was #1 in the country in points in ball screens. That's something that Ayo excels at. He'll get to the foul line as much or more. So I think there's a lot of similarities. And again, that's why being a tremendous piece to the puzzle, he fit exactly who we were and what we were looking for.
How do you feel like signing Ayo is going to have an effect on future recruiting?
Well, I think he's got a very, very contagious personality. I think it's not just here in the state. I think nationally. I think he's a name that everybody recognizes with greatness. Now we get to put our name next to his, and we're in the same sentence. And I truly believe this: great players want to play with great players, and that's so exciting to hear. Nancy and Dan and all sports, they all want to hang around other great players. And you know, when you start adding the Mark Smiths and Ayo, and you go right on down that list, that becomes very, very appealing for other quality players to want to go play with greatness.
Which assistant coaches kind of worked Ayo the most, and what connections and relationships did they kind of tap into?
Well, I think and I don't get into a whole lot of this guy, that guy. Ron Coleman obviously had some previous history and knew of them. We group recruit. I think we all dealt with his recruitment as we all do. I've got, like I said, when I hired these guys, I got a great staff, and they do an unbelievable job. And they've grown in terms of earmarking what we're looking for, and what I'm looking for is they've learned our system. But Chin had a lot of connections, obviously being in the city. He was very, very familiar with his game and watched him grow up basically. So we felt good about that, and then Orlando had a tremendous impact in terms of the success that he's had throughout his recruiting days, and Jamal just being here and helping helping them understand about the University of Illinois was very, very impactful. So we group recruit, and we don't try to label. I think it's when one of us wins, we all win, and today's a huge win for Illinois basketball.
Is there an area of his game you want to see him improve on in his senior year, or something you want to see from him this year?
Well, I think the one thing that he's going to continue to do, and he's working on it very hard now, is he's got to add strength. The biggest adjustment will come from just playing against guys that are older, and he's got to improve his strength there. We've got the best strength coach in the country. We've got one of the best nutrition programs in all of the country. That will enhance, and I think that was part of our sell. Is those are strengths of ours. Those are areas that we're going to impact young people's lives with, and we use the term we teach them. We want to teach them to be a pro, and teaching them to be a pro is how to take care of your bodies the best way possible. And I think he's an underrated shooter. I think he's a guy that because he has his way of getting the ball wherever he wants it, he doesn't have to shoot maybe as many threes as some other guards, but I think he's a very, very good shooter. He's a very deceiving shooter, and all those things will continue to improve as he's going to have a phenomenal senior year on a very, very talented team.
Coach, I know Mark really embraced the opportunity to sell him on the future, and how important is that early bond, and do you see them kind of being cut from the same cloth?
They're so similar in terms of what drives them, and I've said this about Mark many times. He's special in his dedication to not being good, but to being great. There's not many of those. Ayo has a lot of those same characteristics, and that's when I say we're truly blessed. That's why to find young men like that have that talent, infiltrate your program is special. That's hard to come by. And Ayo's relationship with Mark, I think, was they hit it off. And like I said earlier, I think great players want to play with great players. I think there's an intrigued by that. And when you throw high character guys who are about achieving the same goals and winning, they both had tremendous pride in their state. That is so evident. That was made very evident with Mark. As you guys get to know Ayo, you'll find that was important for him to come to the University of Illinois, and he's extremely proud of his university and his state. And again, that's a tremendous trait, and something that we're very blessed to have those two guys, and that's a tremendous bond between those guys.
Is Morgan Park now the preeminent program in the state?
I think they're one of them. I don't want to get into significant because I sure have not seen them all, but they're highly successful. They're extremely well coached, and if you look at the recent past, they're very, very successful, and you don't see that. I don't see that slipping anytime soon, but. For sure, not this year with Ayo running the show. So, but yeah, they're a very, very talented basketball program.
How has that changed since you were an assistant at Western? How's the CPL changed in its power rankings?
Well, when I was there, it was King High School was really, really good, and Simeon's always been a top program, and back then Farragut had a guy named Kevin Garnett and Ronnie Fields, and so I think everything's cyclical. I think everything changes in due time, but it was South Shore was one of Illinois' great players. Shelley Clark played there. It's no longer in existence, so I think you see things change, but right now I would think Morgan Park is a school that's had a tremendous run, and very deservedly so.
You said you still want a shooter and a big in this class. Does this roll over to the spring now, or are there possibilities still in the fall signing period?
No, I think we'll take it in the spring. I think we're always. I think one of the things that's been a great challenge for us is identifying who our current team and what our needs are. And yeah, it'll head into the spring. I wouldn't be surprised if the right transfer comes available. You could take that. You've got a 2018 class that is shy on bigs, and in terms of quality depth. It's just the way this class is. But I've said it many times. The world's a big place. We've got a staff that's truly recruiting worldwide, and now we'll have games under our belt. We'll have actual film to show people of us on the sidelines and us playing, and that helps in the process. But yeah, I would think that this could very easily turn into spring if there's not the right transfer available in the future.
What is your philosophy on transfers, and what's the right transfer?
Well, I think a transfer has to fit a need, and I can give you an example. We signed one last year at Oklahoma State semester, and he fit a need. He was a big kid, 7 foot, and I think they've got to have the immediate impact. They've got to be the right fit. I'm very big on growth. That's why I like high school kids. I like guys to develop. I think one of the things that I've taken a lot of pride in is to see the growth that players have from year to year. And we work really hard at individual workouts and individual improvement and making guys better. And that's why I like freshmen. But I think at times there is a transfer is warranted and needed, and sometimes can fill an immediate hole.
Has recruiting or maybe just college basketball changed enough where signing one in November and having some scholarships open is fine, or would you have preferred to get this class locked down?
No, I don't ever look at it that way. I think it's about putting the pieces to the puzzle together, and however that happens, sometimes it happens differently. I think today you've got a lot of opportunity. You've got fifth-year transfers that have impacted college basketball in no other way. You've got I think we had 800 plus transfers last year in college basketball. So spring recruiting is something that's happening for everybody now. So you've got a lot of factors that go into it. So I don't look at it as a time frame issue. I'm ecstatic about the one we've got today because we got our guy, and we got the guy that impacts our program. And like I said, he doesn't. I don't get into the star system like most of you, but this one does happen to be a 5-star and one of the best players in America, and in my opinion, the best point guard in America.
When you say that playing games, you finally have tape, what are you looking to show recruits as a selling point to get them to choose Illinois? Yeah,
I think our style. I think our style is attractive. I think the tempo with which we play, that we want to play, and to be able to do it in State Farm Center, in front of a packed house, in front of our fans, in front of our students, in front of the Orange Crush is extremely important. Now I don't have to show old film. I can show with us actually in the uniform, and that becomes a little more of reality. So I'm excited about that. I think that becomes a huge positive. We have so many positives here to sell, and from our passionate fan base and that arena, and the State Farm Center is incredible. So to be able to show that off, and with actually us coaches on the sideline with our players and our system is a huge positive for us.
Not having that to show, is that the biggest challenge of this class?
Yeah, I think that's some of it. I think you're asking early. You're asking some you're selling a dream, and you're selling hope, and every clip we showed was of somebody else or something else when it retains to the philosophies. So now it gets to be that. I think part of the recruiting is you look at our current roster, and we don't lose anybody. We lose Mark Allstork, and so everybody's everybody's looking at it and saying, okay, where, what, who, and nobody knows. And So that becomes a little more defined as well. And that's all part of the recruiting challenges, and now we get to check a couple boxes and make things a little smoother that way.
What do you think the perception is of Illinois basketball in Chicago in the CPL, and what do you hope to continue to make relationships up there?
I hope it's great. We've worked diligently. When you have the 11th ranked program in the history of college basketball, I've said it many times, we lost our swag. Why? I don't know. I'm here to bring it back, and we're going to bring it back. There's no question about that. Today's a huge piece of that. We're not going to be just a player in everybody's recruitment in this state. We're going to be one of the major players because we have so much to offer. And you don't provide, you don't just go out and create tradition and history and culture with the names of the players that have played here and the number of pros that have played here, and to do it in front of the most passionate fan base in the country. I'll challenge anybody to have something better than what we do. So we're going to be a very viable option for everybody in this state, and we're going to play a style of play that we think translates to all young people in terms of wanting to play that way.
Brett, Illinois obviously struggled in the city, recruiting some of the city kids recently, and a lot of coaches don't want to get into there sometimes. They say it's too territorial, things like that. What did you experience in this class? And
I don't ever look at it that way. You guys create all of that. I look at holes on our team and try to go fill holes. And recruiting is simplistic to me. You've got to earmark a few things that you like and that you need. We're very much, and I stress this, we're very much a part of a system. We're going to recruit to our system. I think that it has to fit. So whether that player is from Chicago, or as things change and players evolve, sometimes things change. So it doesn't matter if it's Chicago or Champaign or Carbondale. If there's a better fit in that fits us and someplace else, then that's what we're going to do. We're going to do the best thing we can for Illinois basketball in terms of fitting the pieces to our puzzle.
Coach, you talked about Ayo and his being special as a player, and also about his personality. What have you seen just character-wise in him?
Extremely high character. Wonderful, wonderful family. His family is an extremely close bond and unit, and I think it was very evident. My wife made a comment on this visit that man, you could tell how tight and how close knit that family is. That's important. That's important for us. That's what we're trying to sell within our own family unit, and we embrace that and we want that. A young man who's a good student, a young man who cares about getting his degree, a young man who's committed to work. He knows what work is. His dad makes him work, and that's exciting as heck. And that's every quality that I believe in. And it becomes very, very, very hard for young men like that to not be successful. And that's truly a blessing to have a guy like that.
At this time, we need to transition to the game. So, Coach, any comments about the Friday?
Yeah, game one. It's finally here.